We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Joe Rogan's mood was darker than anyone had ever seen. He wasn't calm, he wasn't thoughtful, and he wasn't trying to hold back. Joe was furious. His hands clenched the edge of the table, his voice raised as he looked straight into the camera and unloaded the words his audience wasn't ready for. "I've heard a lot of ugly things in my life," Rogan growled, "but what Diddy did to Justin Bieber, it makes me sick. It's unbelievable that this man still walked around for years being celebrated while kids like Justin were paying the price."
You ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose.
So many horrific accusations, though, involving young singers, like children.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's insane.
He makes R. Kelly look like a decent guy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It is crazy. And meanwhile, the guy was like hanging out with Oprah.
The fire in Rogan's tone was unmistakable. He had spent days reading reports, court filings, and testimonies. He had pieced together the story of how Bieber, just a teenager, ended up under the control of one of the most powerful figures in music. And the more Joe dug, the more furious he became. This wasn't mentorship, he shouted. This was control. This was manipulation. This was a grown man using his power to trap a kid in his orbit. Joe's rage wasn't for show. He slammed his fist on the desk, his voice shaking with intensity. Justin was 15 years old, and you've got Diddy parading him around like some trophy, bragging about having him for days at a time. That's not normal. That's not right. And it blows my mind that people laughed about it back then instead of calling it out for what it was.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything?
Yeah.
Starting to act different, huh?
No,
you ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
Oh, how do you not be crazy? And good luck when you're older. You know, Justin Bieber had a post the other day on his Instagram talking about all the drugs that he did when he was younger and how much it fucked him up. And now he's got a relationship with the Lord, and he's got, he's married, and he's trying to be a normal person.
Yeah.
But he's struggling with the fact that he was insanely famous when he was a kid.
Yeah.
He leaned closer to the microphone, his eyes blazing. The worst part is people knew. People in the industry saw it. They saw how Diddy operated, but nobody said a word because they were scared of him. They let Justin suffer while Diddy pretended he was some kind of mentor. What a joke. A real mentor protects kids. Diddy didn't protect anybody. He used them. The anger in Rogan's voice grew with every sentence. He replayed clips of Justin as a teenager, the forced smiles, the hollow eyes, the times he looked lost even in the middle of success. Everyone thought he was just another spoiled celebrity, Rogan shouted, but no one asked why. No one asked why this kid was breaking down in front of the world. Now we know. Now we see the shadow that was following him, and that shadow's name is Diddy.
Because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious it is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile in your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
We had seen these videos of Justin Bieber being handed over to him at age 15. Great job. Great job. And for his weekend with Diddy camp. I mean, we don't know, but it certainly looks like Justin Bieber is still suffering the fallout from whatever happened to him as he was coming up the ranks of the music world. It really doesn't seem worth it. I mean, I'd love to hear more from his camp about what's real, because it's clear he's suffering. We just don't know from what. And what mother out there would give her 15-year-old boy over to a grown man who's in the rap industry for a weekend with Diddy camp without other adult supervision?
For Rogan, this wasn't just a story about celebrity culture, it was a betrayal of trust. He compared it to handing your child to someone powerful, believing they would guide them, only to find out they had betrayed that trust in the worst way. Diddy had control over Justin's travel, his time, even his security. Tell me how a man like that gets temporary authority over a 15-year-old's life. How does the system even allow it? That's not mentorship. That's domination. Rogan's fury spilled over as he called out not just Diddy, but the industry that enabled him. This isn't just about one man. This is about an entire machine that let him get away with it. The record labels, the managers, the so-called friends, they all stayed quiet. They let Justin carry the weight of it. They let him be mocked while Diddy walked around smiling for the cameras, and that makes me furious.
Anyways, I want to also just show you this montage. This is a montage that was shared by Evie Magazine. They do great work on their TikTok of Justin Bieber, again, just 15 years old, in Hollywood, surrounded by a bunch of adults. And you let me know if any of this registers to you as normal. Take a listen.
Wow. I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful face. All right, now it's time to... If so, bump somebody. All right, thanks. I love you, man. Bye. I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Months ago, I was really struggling mentally and emotionally, and just there were so many things that were adding up, and I wasn't able to enjoy any of the things that I own.
That stuff's not gonna matter to you.
None of the actual things did anything because I was so hurt and I was so confused and I was so sick and there was all these things, and I was like, I can't, there's like, you just can't, like you said, you can't enjoy the actual physical, tangible, like, things.
What's going on with you guys? Are you working together?
I'm not. I mean, I think that we become friends in a strange way, you know?
Like Robin Big.
Yeah, it's like, exactly.
I'm big and you're Robin.
Yeah. No, I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry is a strong family, and he's somebody that, we definitely have our arms around, and we want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person besides his talent. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know.
He took a deep breath, but his voice was still sharp and cutting. Justin didn't ask for this. He wanted to sing. He wanted to perform. He wanted to live his dream. And instead, he got trapped by a man who thought he was untouchable. Diddy thought he could do whatever he wanted. Well, guess what? The truth is out now, and no amount of money or influence is going to hide it. Rogan leaned forward again, his anger boiling over. Justin survived. He clawed his way back, found faith, built a life for himself. But make no mistake, the scars are there. You can see them in his interviews, in his music, in the way he talks about his past. Those scars were left by Diddy, and the fact that this man still thinks he can deny it is insulting. He shook his head, his jaw tight. I'm done with the excuses. I'm done with the people defending Diddy. I don't care how many hits he had or how big his empire was. None of that matters. What matters is what he did to kids like Justin Bieber. That's his real legacy. Not the music, not the parties, not the fame, the damage. And the whole world needs to see it.
The you of then was on a path of self-destruction.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure. 100%. Yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive for sure. It was dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and
moved to New York City. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
in the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Joe's fury lit up the podcast studio like a fire. His audience sat stunned, hearing him unleash his anger like never before. This wasn't analysis. This wasn't speculation. This was Joe Rogan, red-faced and furious, telling the truth that others had been too afraid to say. Justin was a victim, Rogan shouted. And Diddy was the villain. End of story. And if you can't see that, you're part of the problem. As the episode continued, Rogan's rage didn't cool. It intensified. He tore into the industry that protected Diddy for so long. He called out the culture of silence that kept victims quiet. He demanded accountability from the people who looked the other way. If you saw what was happening and you stayed quiet, you're just as guilty, he thundered. You let Diddy keep going. You let Justin suffer. By the end of the podcast, Rogan's voice was hoarse from yelling, his face flushed with anger. But his message was crystal clear. Diddy's empire of lies had collapsed, and the truth about what he did to Justin Bieber could never be hidden again. Joe Rogan didn't just lose his temper, he lost his patience with a system that let this happen, and in doing so, he gave Justin Bieber the one thing he had been denied for years. Someone powerful, someone with a voice, standing up and saying, "What happened to you was wrong." Rogan's anger didn't fade after the cameras shut off. If anything, it grew louder in the days that followed. His rant became one of the most replayed clips on the internet, sparking conversations that the music industry had tried to bury for years. Social media lit up with hashtags demanding accountability, fans revisited old footage of Bieber with new eyes, and journalists began pulling out dusty files that connected the dots. The storm Joe unleashed could not be contained. For decades, he lived like the rules didn't apply to him. But here's the truth, the rules always catch up, and Justin's story is proof of that. No matter how much money you have, no matter how many people you scare into silence, eventually the truth will get out. And when it does, the entire house of cards falls down. Joe didn't just attack Diddy, he challenged the entire structure that enabled him. He spoke directly to the executives who signed contracts, the assistants who looked away, the artists who stayed quiet. If you saw what was happening and you didn't say anything, you're guilty too, Rogan growled. You had a kid in danger and you kept your mouth shut because you didn't want to lose your paycheck. That's cowardice, that's complicity, and you should be ashamed. The fallout spread like wildfire. Brands that once aligned themselves with Diddy quietly began erasing him from campaigns. Streaming platforms started reevaluating his catalog. Younger artists came forward with stories about the pressure and manipulation they had endured in the same circles. Rogan's fury had kicked down the first domino, and now the rest were tumbling fast. But at the heart of it all, Joe kept circling back to Bieber. He called Justin a survivor, someone who had been through a fire and managed to come out the other side with scars but also strength. Justin's still here, Rogan shouted, and that matters, because guys like Diddy wanted to break him. They wanted to own him, and they failed. He fought back. He built a life. That's what makes this so powerful. Justin didn't let Diddy win. Rogan's final words in the segment summed up his relentless fury. You can strip away the fame, the records, the money, and at the end of the day, you're left with one undeniable truth. Diddy will never outrun what he did. And Justin Bieber's story is the nail in the coffin of his so-called legacy.